It's an elimination match between Complexity and Method. The loser will go out and the winner will continue on for their chance to move on and qualify for the $300,000 OW Open at the end of the month. Of course, we do have Rise Nation sitting in wait, so the winner of this will have to face off against them next. We'll start off on Hollywood, Joshi, to get things going between Complexity and Method.
Yep, and I do expect to see Anna, Symmetra, Junkrat, Reinhardt, McCree on the, no, just kidding, on the defense for Complexity. They're going to be starting off, and there is that Harblue on the Roadhog. Not going to be flanking so much on defense, of course, but will be, of course, a sturdy addition. There's no Zarya on defense, but this point A is really about getting quick picks. If you can take out a DPS very quickly or a support very quickly, it can shut down an offense very nicely.
And look at this, Harblue in a position where he has yet to be detected. He's going to wait until his moment to throw that first hook, and let's see if he's able to get anything to start off with. He has been detected now, and he's going to get Ultimate Whip right off the bat, rather than Harblue is going to get the first kill.
Well, it was off the back and off the bat, right? It was the first kill, and it was from behind, so Harblue actually did do a flanking Roadhog for us, just to get us started, and Method, of course, will be slowed down quite a bit. Ultimate Whip, of course, one of their primary weapons in this. You might even say the ultimate weapon. Snow on that Tracer, again, actually performed brilliantly earlier tonight, so I do hope he's going to be able to show us some more.
Yeah, and I like that positioning from Harblue, as it's looking like the first number of kills now going to Complexity very solidly. They're going to hold on super well, even though the first tick was somehow collected there for Method in the middle of all of this. Still going to be quite an advantage now for Complexity as another hook coming through.
Poor Ultimate Web, he was just like, I'm done, don't even blast me, I give up, I'll just die now. But yeah, poor Ultimate Web already not being able to accomplish very much, but you're right, they snuck a tick in there somehow, and that's actually, of course, going to help a lot assaulting this, as it makes the trickle defense a lot less likely if they are able to get some kills. Torque moving off the platform just enough so the Zarya bombs don't hit him. Kudos to Xe for knowing exactly where to stand to shoot that platform. That's incredible. I actually am really amazed at that.
And our first ultimate showdown is going to begin now, as ultimates coming from every angle. Torque with the high ground advantage, got a whole bunch of skulls in his sight, not able to pull the trigger though.
As the kills start flying, it's going to be Ultimate Web leaping into the air, but the rest of his team is falling. Snow and Chronic on the ground already down. Whole Hog from Harblue gets him super low health, but he is actually going to fall to Ultimate Web, getting the dash resets. Can he finish the job? He's almost all alone. Wolf is there to help him out, but there's Lucio as well, so the healing alone with Ultimate Web is enough to actually capture the point. Well done. Xe, of course, contributing some damage there near the end, and because they already had that first tick, it's an easy grab for A. It did take them a couple of pushes, so Complexity at least did burn some time off the clock. They're not going to have time to set up. Actually, Ultimate Web is going to be forced back by the Winston switch, so good switch there for Complexity on defense.
And Complexity, they made it happen the first couple times because of super early picks. Each time that Method moved on in, one or two was taken out right out of the picture. But the time when they actually engaged on fully, it went entirely the way of Method. And now we do move on to the Streets phase with the ultimate advantage for Complexity.
Complexity having that Earth Shatter and Transcendence available, but it's going to be Winston leaping in to engage. He had a Harmony Orb, but it's not going to be enough. He's completely surrounded. We've got Ultimate popping the Dragon Blade. Can he get anything for it? I think he's actually going to back out thanks to the Transcendence on time there for the defense. No, he jumps back in and slices Torque to the moon. I don't know how that happened, but Harblue jumping up back onto the payload, going to be able to get them off of the cart. Snow getting a couple of kills on the offense. Method rolling through now.
Harblue will get the easy kill on Zenyatta, but he's caught by himself. And when Winston is up against a couple of the opponents, it's not going to work out well. So Winston down and out, and this is now looking good for Method. They were stumped for 2 minutes, but the next couple of minutes have been all about Method.
And they have both defensive ultimates with Psycho Waffle's Sound Barrier starting things out. It's actually going to be Chronic falling very low health. Psycho Waffle focused down. Everything going well now for the defense, finally hanging on just outside their spawn. Transcendence is going to be triggered by the offense, but there's very few targets actually left to heal up while Complexity still standing strong, and it looks like Method will start to fall.
Can't really talk too many praises about Snow, though. He's done incredible amounts of work with Tracer so far. Snow joining us from Brazil, so I hear. He's got a little bit of a high ping, but that hasn't hindered him so far. Complexity, though, has found a way to stop the payload, and they're going to have a couple of ultimates. That said, a couple of ultimates up for Method as well for this next engagement.
Joe Meister's perhaps being the most important here. Cannot use it too early, cannot die still holding it, as that will allow Method to try and take that checkpoint finally. Snow does have a Pulse Bomb available as well for some combo shenanigans, perhaps, but it is actually pretty far away from the ultimates for the rest of his team. They are going to engage now.
And here comes a flank from Snow. He's coming behind, going to drop the Pulse Bomb onto Reinhardt, and that will be the first kill for Method as they're pushing forward. And they have some wind behind their sails this time, but Torque will poke a hole in that sail, I guess.
Torque just slashing through the sail, not allowing any wind to be caught by it, but it's going to be Torque deflecting, maybe getting the kill on Rolf if he can stay alive, but no Chronic in with the save. The attacking team still pushing forward. Nicholas tosses the pulse bomb this time, does not get the stick. He could still get the Zenyatta kill, but he actually backs out. Snow instead taking out Nicholas.
Actually, rough times for the TJO brothers, Nicholas and Torque, both in positions where they were just narrowly so close to getting kills, but weren't able to pull the final trigger and seal the deal. So still on the point, but they're down and out. They're trickling in slowly. Torque will be taken out immediately. So now, Complexity on the back foot. They're going to have to wait for Torque to get back in the action.
Yep, and the trickle defense is still the right decision. As weird as it looks when they kind of single file run out the door like that, if you can buy any amount of time, let's say Genji actually double jumped away and managed to live for another few seconds, maybe Lucio gets there in time to do something to help you out. Maybe Harblu gets there with his Primal Rage to last 10 more seconds, 15 more seconds. It's all about this clock and bleeding time off. Now that the doors are open into the final point, it's going to be Method with a full ult advantage. Look at that, 5-1, and actually it's going to trigger Transcendence immediately from Shake.
All right, Method going to throw the kitchen sink at this next fight as they've pulled everything out. No kills. Oh, there the first 2 kills go. It's going to be Ultima Web collecting them. And Rolf, can we talk about this guy? He has been doing incredible work with Zenyatta and doling out just a ton of damage, more in the kill feed than you're expecting to see Zenyatta, but this has been clean. This has been absolutely clinical for Method. They've made a clean wipe, and they'll be moving on to the final meters.
Yeah, Zenyatta, nice pointing that out. Actually, they're very comfortable in the far back, usually just tossing out orbs and projectiles as they can, but Rolf doing a great job actually defending himself. Every time he gets jumped on, it seems like he can outlast his opponents, so that is definitely a quality you're looking for in a Zenyatta. Sound Barrier actually allowing Method to move forward really quickly here. No kills just yet. Torch falls to get things started. Snow still with the Pulse Bomb, looking for the best targets. Usually going to be one of those tanks, but D.Va is in play now. He's going to drop that Pulse Bomb on the Reinhardt, does get the kill. Ultimate Web with the sword out, doing work of his own, and everything looking good for Method. Complexity, can they hold up here?
This is looking absolutely terrible for Complexity. They have had just such a difficult time staying even near the point at this time. And even the charge by JKW somehow saved. I think there was maybe a Zarya bubble thrown on the Tracer the last possible second. But the fight will rage on, and Complexity back on in it. That said, Snow left with so little health, but brought right back up by the Transcendence. That Transcendence was clutch from Rolf in the last possible second. Snow brought back up, and that's going to be a flurry of kills. Method will finish off here on Hollywood, and that's a good time.
Yeah,
That's not the fastest, but it's damn good nonetheless.
It's just entering that slow territory, right? If it's like 6 to 7 minutes, that's about average. Anything faster than 6 minutes, pretty good. Anything slower than 7, pretty slow normally, but I think it's all right. And it's a good opportunity actually for Method to try and hold the defense. There he is, McCree getting launched into space again. Like, yeah, it's like the Genji space program. McCree enrolled unwillingly on that one, but as we flip sides here, it's actually going to be Complexity on the attack, Method on the defense. They're rolling out with their composition that they're comfortable on. It's basically the standard 6, but we don't see a Zarya. It's actually going to be 3 DPS. Will Ultimate Web switch? Oh, to a Junkrat. I was going to consider Zarya there,
and
but
a Symmetra and an
and an Ana.
Not this time. Complexity will now take their turn to attack, and they have a time to beat of 7 minutes and 2 seconds. That's pretty good time for them. It felt like that map was really going the way of Method, but if you look at each engagement, they were kind of prolonged. So in the end, Complexity with enough time to work with here as we switch sides. And they'll be making their way into Goldshire Studios.
It's interesting, just the way that played out. Method was all over the opposition. Complexity actually held at point A for longer than any other point on the map, and that's usually the reverse. Oh, Rolf has left the game. We have not opened the doors yet, so if he does not rejoin, we do have an opportunity to make sure that he is a part of the game. We'll let you know, obviously, as we're finding out as you are. Looks like we are. Just headed back to me and Ben, talk about that first round a little bit more. Ultima Web. Genji play was super good. Snow dropping Pulse Bomb after Pulse Bomb. Even only getting 1 target with a Pulse Bomb feels good, when the fact is you can totally whiff. It can be Zarya bubbled. Reinhardt shield can block it. There's so many ways to negate that Pulse Bomb that even getting 1 target consistently definitely added up there over the course of that round.
And I think it's a case of smoke him if you got him. Because, of course, Tracer can get that ultimate back up in a very short amount of time. So Snow, though, really impressing. The TJO brothers got to step up. We've known them to be incredible DPS players, but they were a little bit stronger back in the Pharah Mercy meta when Nicholas was one of the best Pharahs in the game. We've also seen them both playing a lot of 76 in the past. Neither really so much common at this point in time. We're going to try and get back in the game for you guys in just a second. So sit tight. With 7 minutes and 2 seconds complexity, they got a good chance here. I think they have a really good chance. And I wonder if we'll see Roadhog on attack as well as defense on this first point.
It looked like Harblu did already have him hovered, so at least there's some opportunity of that. But we also had Zarya actually kind of going back and forth. I think he was a little indecisive. We're not sure which Harblu we're going to get on point A. Maybe Harblu's Roadhog into Harblu Zarya once the Streets phase come along. But actually hooking people down is really valuable too. We'll have to see as we are now back into the map. I want to say that Nicholas and Torque, we talked about how on defense, at least today, they've not been really showing up in the way that Snow and UltimaWeb and these Rise Nation guys earlier tonight have been bringing it to them. Defense seeming to be a bit of a weak point for complexity today for sure, but Nicholas and Torque normally very good on the offense. When they're driving into a sustained position, it seems to be much better. If they know where their targets are, Torque on that McCree, definitely deadly accurate. As long as he's around, he's going to be sinking in damage, so if complexity can run a protect, oh yeah, we're flipping sides actually on the overlay as well here in just a moment, but if complexity can do a protect the Torque sort of composition perhaps and allow McCree as much room as possible to actually get kills, I think it's going to go well for them on attack.
Yeah, when Torque is not under pressure, he can dole out a ton of damage. And here we go. It's going to be Snow and Co. on defense first, and this is one of the first times we've seen Snow not on Tracer. Look at this composition, though. It's 3 DPS for Method on defense first and only 1 tank. We'll see if this pays off.
As we run out the gate now, it is going to be Harblu starting out on the Zarya to get us on to point A. UltimaWeb still on that Junkrat, so that's kind of interesting. We'll have to see how the spam grenades do this time around. Torque looking through security just to see if any targets are there, but the communication and the relay basically letting him know maybe it's just best to back off or have Reinhardt run through security in front.
Has he not even started spamming these nades yet?
He might be hiding.
Yeah, they haven't really started coming in yet, so kind of interesting to stay hidden for so long. And UltimaWeb now with 33% ultimate, so they must be coming in from somewhere.
The trap triggered and probably had a bomb in it. So UltimaWeb actually getting eliminated there quickly by Shake. Torque obviously contributing quite a bit as well. Lucio now getting focused down by Torque and the rest as it's going to be JKW actually lasting a very long time, even though he does go down. Kills did go in both directions. Snow, though, on the McCree actually just gathering a bunch of kills here for the defense.
That was a super fast Earth Shatter there. Within less than a minute, the Earth Shatter coming out. And Complexity, though, falling back. They have to fall back, and Harblu looking to build up that Graviton Surge as quickly as he can, and it has not been quick so far, with only 30%, or excuse me, 40% in over a minute off the clock. And time ticking down is not a good sign for Complexity. They need to be able to take this first point with some momentum and move on to the second point with some ultimates behind their back to have any good chance here. As Torque will get the first kill as they do start to engage Joshi, and let's see how this one unfolds.
Did you see that UltimaWeb mine into trap? That actually worked really well on the Reinhardt, even though it didn't get a kill. The tire actually did not either. It kind of whiffed. Ultimately, UltimaWeb being a bit ineffective. That trap right there, Zarya tried to trigger it with her shield up, but didn't quite catch. Torque and Nicholas, though, finally showing us what they're made of on the offense, scooping a lot of those kills for Complexity, and they are going to be able to capture point A. There's really no way Method, or no reason they should try to defend this.
All right, and 2 minutes is an okay time for this first point, and that means that they are on pace. They get the next point in 2 minutes and the one after that in 2 minutes, and they will have won the game. So, can Complexity keep this momentum going? And they have 3 ultimates to the 2 of Method, so this could be a good opportunity for them. That said, they really have no good way of getting to the high ground other than Nicholas, who could teleport up there, so Method might have an opportunity to get up high and hold that advantage.
I'm surprised Nicholas didn't teleport up, but this is actually an opportunity for him, now that the defense has pushed forward, to try to get into an even sneakier position. Something like the jail over on the complete other side could allow him to get into a great position. Actually, it looks like he is just going to stick with his team for now and try to do peeling for this Tracer, as Exy on the defense has swapped off now and trying to get as much damage as he can. There's an Earth Shatter coming out, catching several members. There's the combination. That's what he was waiting for. Triple kill there for the Reaper on Complexity. That's going to be Nicholas driving things forward.
And UltimaWeb was like, man, I just saw my entire team die. I don't even care. I'm going to bring out the Dragon Blade, try to do what I can, and that means he's going to get 2 kills. So actually there is potentially a window here now that Method is respawning and getting on the point where they could bully Complexity off. That said, if Complexity is smart, they'll be able to fall back and get with the rest of their team. No harm, no foul. Torque with the Deadeye, not able to get any real damage though, as Complexity continues to move forward. The Transcendence will be pulled out as well. Big charge, but the Reinhardt is killed first. Nicholas gets that kill, saving his teammate in Torque.
Torque, yeah, thankful to be still alive, does get the flash on Genji, allowing Nicholas to get the follow-up kill, and Shake contributing as well, taking out the enemy Zen. Some Zen-on-Zen violence for everyone's enjoyment. Complexity moving forward now to point B. They will lock it up. Anyone who spawns up front here for Method is going to be unhappy with that. They need to regroup as quick as they can, while Complexity already surging forward, looking at their spawns. Rulf actually gets killed before they can even get back into swords, basically.
Oh, that's 2 kills now for Nicholas and Torque. They're pushing on forward and eking out a big advantage now. The payload does roll rather slowly, so plenty of time, of course, for Method to get back into the action. And Snow now switching over to his trademark Genji, or excuse me, trademark Tracer.
Yeah. We had Exi on Tracer earlier and Snow on McCree, and they didn't do well with that combination, so I'm a little surprised that they actually decided to go with that. Of course, Exi on Zarya now can provide quite a lot of support with those bubbles and actually beats up their team quite a bit, so this could be the opportunity for them to defend for the first time, really, since point A.
Yeah, Ultimate Wet putting himself in a little bit of danger now. He is going to swipe on away, dashing away, and Torque gets another kill onto Snow quite early in that engagement. So 6 versus 5 as Complexity inching closer and closer. They've only got about 10 meters left, or maybe 20, and 2 minutes and 20 seconds to do it.
As the ultimates start flying, Ultimate Web earns his Dragon Blade. He does survive thanks to some support teammates there dropping their ultimates. Nicholas actually just drilling through whatever's in front of him, trying to find those tanks. Of course, those are big targets, but Ultimate Web on the defense, getting a couple of kills. Does get taken out by Joemeister eventually, but did stall that push. And there's only 2 minutes left now for Complexity to try and continue this. They just use a bulk of their ultimates. Joemeister very close to a Sound Barrier, but a Sound Barrier alone will not make a push happen, especially when Method can match it with a Transcendence and a Pulse Bomb.
All right, Complexity. The pressure begins to mount now with 1 minute and 40 on the clock. This means that if they're wiped fully about twice more, that's going to be the last push for them. So Complexity, they're moving forward calmly and slowly, right on the payload, not trying to get over-aggressive, but now they do. Here comes the Sound Barrier, which is going to give them plenty of room to work with, but Transcendence on the other side. JKW getting a big charge there, but Chronic has responded in a massive way. For his team, he's getting 4. It's going to be a Reinhardt getting a 4K. Rolf going to continue to sweep on up, and that was the usage of Joemeister's Sound Barrier there. So Complexity now in an even worse situation. 1 minute and 5 on the clock.
I knew it. I knew the Sound Barrier wouldn't be enough. We probably should have just held on to it and did what Rafa calls a junk rush. Just try and get some more people on your team, some ultimates, and not try to win that fight at a disadvantage.
Force ultimates out of the other team.
Yeah, exactly.
Even better.
You give yourself even better chances on this push where they have no ultimates, except now Earthshatter available for JKW. He's going to have to be looking for the perfect opportunity for that. Nicholas did swap off of Tracer a little bit ago onto Reaper to match the Zarya now, and Chronic getting taken out very quickly, but it is going to be the defense holding as well as they can. Kills going both ways. Shake actually popping the Transcendence to save his own life, does get Nicholas up as well, but the defense now falling.
Yeah, that Transcendence is going to be enough confidence booster for Nicholas to push straight forward, but a big reflect. Ultimate Web reflected that shotgun blast point blank. He's going to be knocked onto his back, and JKW keeping the dream alive for his team. Just 16-15 seconds. Can they make this happen? They need to get the kills right now. Rolf will respond with the Transcendence, and the Transcendence alone might be enough to keep the payload from getting on in. And there's a Sound Barrier as well. So with 4 seconds left, the time is ticking away, and Complexity will go down and out. Harblue knows the drill. He's going to call GG, and this could be terrible for the team, the squad, Complexity. They've been a top 4 team in North America for so long, and they are now 1 map away from being eliminated, from not even making it to the top 8 of North America in this Overwatch Open for $300,000. And Joshi, that would be pretty ugly scene now for Complexity if that happens.
NRG have to be feeling great that they got out of this group, because it is so Wild West out here right now with Rise Nation, Complexity, and Method just battling their hearts out. And Method definitely don't feel great about the loss to NRG. They do want to be the second group out of here, so taking it to Complexity quite well there. Man, what can Complexity do? Nicholas and Torque did actually put up a much better performance on attack than on defense there, but I think it was just Rulf. Actually, Rulf did a great job as Zenyatta, again, just defending himself from every attacker. Ultimate Web had the money, deflect, and dashes, and Dragon Blades, everything paying off for him. Sending McCree to the moon is still my favorite part of the map. I don't know how many times I've actually seen that happen. It was pretty cool.
So Complexity now in a rough situation. They are do or die. And Kings Row will be where we're headed next to see if they will do or if they will die. Complexity, of course, could they bring out the Roadhog? Again, I feel like this is a good opportunity to do so. Just given how the first point on King's Row is structured, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to wail down the enemy's Reinhardt shield. And I think one of the standout moments for me in that last game, though, was the massive 4K from the Reinhardt of Method.
Chronic.
Wow, that was actually in the perfect time. And if it were not for that 4K, I think that's where Complexity was looking to end the map.
It's interesting because there was only like 30 seconds left when that happened. It definitely did, put the stamp on the envelope and send it off as a victory for Method. I don't know where that analogy came from. It just came to mind. But anyway, that's where trickle defense normally would start anyway. You would see D.Va, Mei, Tracer, etc. So 20 seconds, not a lot to work with even in that last stretch as respawning, even though it comes in dribs and drabs, a Mei, if she manages to make it onto the payload, she can burn 5-10 seconds. Maybe that gives Lucio enough time to get an ult. Maybe that gives Zen enough time to get an ult. Still was going to be a very difficult road for them, but Chronic definitely saving the day with the hammer down, making sure that Method got the victory. And now on King's Row, it could play out very similarly. Payload maps have not been Complexity's friend at all today.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, and Method looking super strong. And like I mentioned earlier, we've been looking forward to this group all week long. It's a great way to end the week worth of broadcast. Again, this is day number 5 that we've been here in the Face It Studios, and this is the last moments for both of these teams. Either one going out here means that they're down and out, both qualified into this final bracket via huge 256 open bracket tournaments. This is why it's called the OW Open, of course. So going down and out now would be demoralizing for anybody, but especially Complexity, the favorite probably to go out of this group initially.
They were the top seed in the group as they did win that qualifier earlier in the competition just a couple of weeks ago, but they did seal it up by beating all these same sorts of teams, including NRG, if I'm not mistaken, in that very same qualifier. So the fact is, NRG, they put the resources toward a boot camp. They made some new strategies. They showed us how it works, and everything went swimmingly for them. But Complexity haven't won a game. They dropped 0-2 to Rise, and they're down 0-1 to Method. Do you think Complexity could potentially lose this group without winning a single game?
I'm still going to stick with my prediction. It's going to be 2-1 for Complexity. I think that they can pull this back, and we have seen them bounce back from absolutely crushing defeats. I don't know if you actually got a chance to watch Reunited versus Complexity last week at the Gamescom ESL Atlantic Showdown, but it was one of the most one-sided games we've ever seen. And after that, everyone thought Complexity was down and out, yet they struck back and had a huge upset win against Cloud9. So here we go. Ultima Web will give his standard smiley face, and not really sure what's going on there, Joshi, but that is Ultima Web for you. Definitely a character.
That's what he looks like in real life. Yeah, it's just like it. So on defense, it's going to be Ultima Web starting on Reaper. Very rare that you actually don't see a Genji, but of course he is going to play the character that makes more sense here. Reaper being able to stick very close with the tanks and supports on this very crowded point A. Honestly, defense on this point can be very difficult just because everyone's shoved in together. Snow, as McCree, does have the option of working around and staying on the ledges in the back or in the apartments in the back, trying to stay hidden, but generally you're going to be in a sort of death ball formation, and Complexity taking advantage of that fact with Nicholas on Junkrat to get started as a potential choke buster. Harblue always looking for the hook through the hotel, doesn't find it this time.
I'm going to coin this. Complexity, this is their tank busting composition. They're looking to take down the Reinhardt shield as quickly as they possibly can. Barely survived with the Wraith walk away, but that Reinhardt shield is not long for this world with both a Junkrat and a Roadhog spamming it down. It just won't last. And that's going to be Harblue getting a big hook, but still no kill. Chronic able to survive just somehow, just some way, and that Reinhardt shield still up, although not for long. It's going to be Harblue getting yet another hook, and yet, once again, unable to collect the kill.
Zarya bubbled himself in time. Exy, good play there. We didn't actually point out that Rolf was killed very early on, and he is actually already back in the battle, so he's going to be a bit further away from Transcendence, but JKW and Joe Meister falling now. I got to give props to Method for not falling 5v6. I don't think Complexity pounced on that well enough. They broke the Reinhardt shield. Zen was on his way back. They had an opportunity to just try and go in and out-frag, and they let it slip, and now a minute's been burned off. Method's back at full power. Psycho Waffle, Snow, and Ultima Web all have their ultimates, and Exy's looking for that Graviton Surge. We're going to have, instead of a potentially good 6v5, now it's going to be an ultimate battle to see who takes A.
Yeah, and it feels like if Harblue had coordinated with even one other teammate with any of those hooks, they could have and should have been kills potentially. Ultima Web waiting in the wings, and Ultima Web could have a massive Death Blossom. Has he been detected? I believe he has. Nicholas TGO will get the first kill with the tire, though, and that's going to open things up for Complexity.
Losing that Lucio is a huge deal, as he did have Sound Barrier. Dying with Sound Barrier is definitely an awful feeling. Exy might die with the Graviton Surge, too. If they actually don't make great use here. Ultimate Web getting 1 kill on Joemeister will even things up a little bit. Rolf Transcendence going to keep them alive through the Earth Shatter. Did you see Zenyatta fly in the air there? That was pretty interesting. Nicholas still just shelling with the Junkrat bombs. Earth Shatter comes out from the defense, and the pin kills JKW. Great play from the Reinhardt to keep this defense alive.
And so far, Nicholas TGO able to get 1 kill with the ultimate, but I just don't know about this pick of Junkrat on attack. That said, it is finally working out for them after they will end up dropping that sound barrier, giving them the survivability they need to get aggressive, get in the face of Method, and that will be a cap on the first point.
Junkrat held only like 5 or 15 health, something incredibly low. The sound barrier gave him enough bravery to actually move out there and just continue shelling away at the defending Zarya, and then everything's going to go their way eventually. Complexity starting up the payload now, but they're not in a position where they can kind of surge forward. Nicholas probably just wants to use the tire and swap. If you're going to go back, may as well let it rip, even from any position. We've seen that even from a mile away. Oh, he's actually not even going to go back and switch. He's continuing with this.
Yeah, and again, I think this really is designed to take down the enemy's Reinhardt shield as quick as possible. Didn't really happen, though. It didn't happen as I imagined it might or should have, I guess. Here we go, though, as it's going to be a switch up. We no longer have Harblue on the Roadhog. We'll be over onto Zarya, and that's the first kill for Torque. So Complexity now with a little bit of momentum, a little bit of wind behind their sails as they push forward and forward, and that's 3 kills. That's going to be more than enough for them to continue on through the streets phase. That said, Method still has time to stop this payload.
Lucio chose the correct route, by the way, moving up through the stairs as Torque could not actually hit him with a flashbang. If he had continued on straight, a couple of headshots could have taken him out. So props there to the Lucio Cycle Waffle for getting back safely to his team. They are going to have an opportunity to contest. They're going to wait until it's actually at the most advantageous position. Exy with that Graviton Surge, definitely going to be one to look out for here. The tire taken out by Snow on McCree, good stuff there. They're actually going to engage with the race car Zen. It's going to be a Graviton Surge grabbing everybody, triggers the Zen Shape Transcendence there. Earth Shatter knocking everyone flat on the attack, though. Chronic, great play, even though he does go down in the fray. Everything looking good for Method.
Take a look at Complexity. Every single person on the team is so low. A tickle could kill almost everybody, but yet they survive. They're getting the kills, and that is maybe enough for them here, but they're still actually in danger of going out. Harblue with very, very little health, and that was such a strange fight. I mean, Complexity had a huge numbers advantage, but every single person on the team was left with maybe a third of health, maybe even less.
That was a crazy little surrounding and killing of Torque. I didn't even see the McCree at first. I was like, oh, McCree just climbed up the stairs and got flashbanged. I didn't have no idea the defensive McCree was already in position, but I think Chronic's Earth Shatter really bought them the time they needed. It was looking like Complexity was surging forward with enough power to actually take the checkpoint. So great timing for Chronic. Even though he did go down, it allowed Exy and Cycle Waffle enough time to clean up the very low health targets. It took a long time, too. That burned a lot of time off the clock for Complexity to try and set a quick one here.
Ultimate Web just biding his time, not even jumping in on those juicy targets in that Graviton Surge. He's just waiting, and the positioning will be good. This is, he's able to stay alive here. Most of his team is actually dead already, so they've got to find a way to get back out of here. And Ultimate Web could Wraith walk away potentially, but he might as well die at this point. The rest of his team is down and out, and I don't think they can hold.
Yeah, with only a couple of members here, Rolf is going to fall, and I think Reaper's still up. Yeah, he's trying to do what he can, but it will eventually fall without finding a kill. Maybe if he had been able to stunt one of them early, it would be okay, but the fact is they're going to respawn right there anyway if that checkpoint is captured. So I think you're right. Ultimate may have wanted to just book it out of there as his teammate was getting hunted down. They get the checkpoint, continue to roll through with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go.
3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock and 3 ultimates to their name. Complexity going to try and make some kind of advantage out of this. There's going to be a zoning Deadeye coming out of both sides. Both McCrees will be looking to get some kind of value, but 3 kills in a row. Snow will be the first to draw blood, and Snow off his trademark Tracer, but it looks like McCree's working out.
Yeah, McCree actually paying off quite well throughout this map. There's another kill for Snow onto Harblue, and that's actually going to stall them quite a bit, another 20 seconds or so as the payload is quite close. Taking a look at the ultimate situation, Transcendence and Earth Shatter could definitely come into play. Graviton Surge, though, is the big one. Harblue just now hitting 100%, while Method on the other side. Chronic could try to lay them flat with a nice Earth Shatter just to try to counter and buy them time, but Ultimate Web's Death Blossom could be used in conjunction to wipe them, and so this will be a big one, Ben.
Yeah, Complexity stacked with ultimates. They've got the resources to make this happen here. It's going to be Harblue looking to find a big Graviton Surge, and everyone is bunched up. That's the perfect opportunity that they needed. Nicholas coming from behind. He's going to be able to get the Death Blossom. In fact, not even a Death Blossom. He didn't even need to pop it. He's just going to do it the old-fashioned way. Hold on to that ultimate for this next fight.
I can't believe Method got wiped quite in the manner that happened, although Harblu did launch that Graviton Surge. It caught a lot of members, and Nicholas, you're right, didn't even need the Death Blossom. He just got all the targets in one nice
and here it comes.
Old Nicholas with the sound barrier allowed to Death Blossom freely, but of course the Transcendence negating that. There's the Earth Shatter we were looking for the offense this time. JKW knocking everyone down, but Chronic with the counter Earth Shatter, getting a couple of kills. Can they continue to defend even though the corpses go flying off the side? It's going to be Method holding on. Nicholas, as Reaper, has an opportunity to try and finish off a healer or two. He does find Rolf with only 40 health. Are there any blue people? Yes, Snow is right there, as Tracer now, of course, makes much more sense than the McCree with the payload so close to the point. They regain control, but it's only 4 meters away with 90 seconds to go. Complexity just need to basically gather themselves and get a quick pick. If they can kill even one and start that landslide, they can potentially finish the map here.
Yeah, no resources though in terms of ultimates at this point in time. And they're not really super close either. That could have been a nice pulse bomb. Doesn't connect though, so Complexity still pushing forward. 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock. They need to make something happen here, Joshy, and it's starting to look better and better for Method. The longer they're able to delay here, the more desperation we're going to see from Complexity.
Yeah, and the fact is, this is going to be a slower and slower time. Even if they don't finish, it's essentially the same, as they got only 4 meters away from finishing at almost maximum time. Ultimate getting taken out very fast, though, is going to give Torque the Deadeye he needs to fake off Zarya, potentially finds Exi on the Zarya as Chronic launches another brutal Earth Shatter, and the follow-up. Chronic MVP here, especially for the last point defense, moving all the way forward to swipe at whoever stands in his way. Only 40 seconds left now for Complexity. Death Blossom could make a big difference. They may be able to set a time, but at this point, it's essentially the same as what they've already done.
Only silver lining here now is that Complexity will have actually 4 ultimates for this next fight. JKW getting damn close to a 5th as well. So Complexity should, in theory, have an advantage. They haven't been able to combo in a way that we'd like to see too often, though. We've only seen the Zarya and Reaper combo once or twice. They don't have anything like the Pulse Bomb, and here comes Zarya. It's going to be sucking everyone in, at least 3 into that. Actually, maybe not even 3 into that. This is not good. This is not good for Complexity. They've only gotten 2 kills, but 2 kills might be enough. Here comes the Death Blossom from above. Ultimate Weapon and Rolf will combine for 2. JKW responds. So Complexity still with a narrow advantage, but JKW with a pixel of health. He could die in just a second. So this is the last push, and Complexity is falling. Method is going to reinforce much quicker on defense.
Yeah, Method with the D.Va and Snow's Tracer there, just running right back onto the point as quickly as possible. Overtime will begin to tick down. He triggers it, but again, at this point, once it's past overtime, it's a over 9-minute time regardless. Complexity and Method now on the attack will have quite a lot of room to try and get this achieved. It's not the hugest deal ever that they didn't actually finish. It's 4 meters away, so it's essentially the same mark to beat. But we've got Exi actually just getting launched there. Junkrat Mines actually came in a huge play in the point A. It was a little slower than usual, but it definitely had the right setups in the end.
Yeah, Nicholas with the interesting pick of Junkrat on attack here. First point of King's Row, and I want to say it didn't pay off in the way that they were expecting it to. Of course, they were able to get to the final portion of King's Row, but it wasn't with a ton of time remaining. But in the end, just great team play, great coordination by Method, allowed them to outlast this onslaught of ultimates coming in from Complexity.
Wow, here's that big Earth Shatter.
Yeah, absolutely massive. He knocked multiple people, it looks like, into their doom there. At least one, and swinging away for the rest.
Another
Look at
massive
Chronic.
Earth Shatter.
Look at Chronic.
Last point MVP for sure, I think. Snow switching onto the Tracer actually managed to stay alive a lot longer as well. I really wonder, why don't you just start with Snow on Tracer? He's just really incredible at it. His McCree, of course, did have some shining moments throughout that defense, but honestly, his Tracer just seems just phenomenal, and if they can't deal with him, I think it's going to be wonderful for them on the attack. But Method, starting with Hanzo, starting on Hanzo, at least for Snow. We'll see if it actually ends up being just a Sonic Arrow or if he'll stick with it. We have seen them stick with it more often these days on A.
They did stick with it before, earlier today. Snow made it work with Hanzo, frankly. So, could still happen here, and Complexity will have to play a very strong defense indeed. It's going to be Harblu sticking with Roadhog on defense this time, so the tank lineup will be JKW on Reinhardt, Harblu with the Roadhog. It's going to be Roadhog apiece for both teams.
I just realized we're on King's Row. We have a guy named Snow. I feel like there's a King of the North joke and working its way out of me. We'll have to see if Hanzo can make something cool happen or not, but great pans as always from the observers in the back. Thank you so much to the guys in the studios who put in all the hard work this week. But as we get started, Snow driving forward with those Hanzo arrows, just sinking tons of damage into the Reinhardt shield. Is it broken already? It looked like it shattered. If I'm not mistaken, he is going to back off regardless.
Maybe it's Hanzo that actually butts down these shields most effectively if that actually happened that quickly. That said, shield is back up. Harblue looking for a pick. Both Roadhogs are going to be posturing, looking for that early hug, and Joe Meister somehow is the first to get a kill as Lucio.
Yeah, just the killing blow. A stray green or red ball can, kill someone from distance. But Ultimate actually on the McCree is kind of interesting. He's, of course, the Genji master, as we've been seeing. I've seen him on Reaper a fair few times as well. But the attacking McCree, actually not too familiar with that, especially when his Genji is so phenomenal at attacking. Yeah, especially on King's Row. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. We saw the Genji attack earlier, didn't pan out for some other teams, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but you'd usually expect to see Reaper. I mean, Reaper has become so commonplace. But Snow's going to get a double, Exy going to get a third, and that should be enough for Method to cruise on through. They even use the Transcendence to give everyone all of their health back, and that is a clean capture on the first point. It's done a little bit quicker than Complexity was able to as well, so on a decent pace now to try and get a little bit further than Complexity was able to at the final stretches.
As they push forward, forcing Complexity to continue that back pedal all the way to the spawn area, basically, as this payload continues to move forward. I'm really looking at this Dragon ultimate from Snow. It could be very, very powerful, as the streets here on King's Row, of course, are pretty narrow. Exy has a whole hog as well as a follow-up if one or the other doesn't work. Ultima Web has a Deadeye and Chronic. We've seen these Earth Shatters hit 3, 4, 5 people in the past. Could be huge for them. The Sonic Arrow into the Dragon ultimate does actually trigger the Transcendence from the defense. Earth Shatter came out as well from JKW on the defense, and Chronic actually saved his before going down.
Oh, this is starting to look so scary for Complexity. A team that was certainly favored to move on through this group is all of a sudden on their last leg. With 4 minutes and 50 seconds left, this is actually a ridiculous pace as they made through the streets phase. Stupid fast, and Method looking to make a name for themselves. We already knew this team was strong when they were playing as one shot. They were picked up by Method about a month ago, and they've played well under that banner as well. But Complexity, they're a premier team in North America. They can get taken out here. Complexity, though, striking back, they will have the sound barrier to their name.
Harblue jumping in as Winston saying, "You know nothing, Hanzo Snow."
There you go, Joshy.
Yes, we did it. All right, I had that one brewing for a while there. Chronic with the Earthshatter still available will, of course, need to back up. Losing Ultima Web as one of your primary damage dealers is not a great way to start an engagement. So instead of losing a 5v6, long and drawn out, burning all that time, they are just going to wait for their McCree. Complexity actually allowing this to happen. They're just camping the cart. They don't want any Tracer to come, Ninja it, anything sneaky like that, and just drop the ball. This is, they're facing elimination here. They actually need to play as hard as possible.
And Nicholas stacked with that Death Blossom, but Snow with the flank has caught him out. And Death Blossom only really works if you're able to take the opponents off guard. So Nicholas able to get one kill indeed, so still looking fine for Complexity. And that might have been a waste of Transcendence there. And now comes the Death Blossom up from above. He stopped right in the middle of it, but that's not going to stop him from getting 2 kills. JKW will get the third, and Complexity has found a way to slow this down. And thank God for them, because they are on the brink of defeat and being knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah, there was an interesting hook actually stopping that Death Blossom mid-progress, but of course he's like, well, you're going to shut down my ult, but you can't shut down these shotguns. I'm just going to blast you in the face, clean up, nice and tidy. And we've got Twerk on the defense now with a Deadeye. Great positioning for that McCree, as really who on Method can actually go deal with that. No one can leap up there. Maybe Reaper can sneak up from behind, but McCree's in a pretty safe situated spot at the moment as this payload starts to round the corner. He's up there in the back. It looks like Zenyatta may actually be up there with him as well, but once we get started, actually still no engagement. Chronic and co actually looped all the way around, expecting that McCree.
The flank coming up top, but Chronic left by himself. Where are his teammates? He's down and out way too quickly, and Chronic a little bit off sync with the rest of his team, who's trying to make this flank work. They're trying to force it. Exy has killed Nicholas, so it's still a 5 versus 5 on the point as they're continuing to move around.
This is a little bit puzzling. It's like, instead of these long, drawn-out brawls that we're used to seeing where everyone dies, we're seeing like 1 or 2 people die in the last 3 pushes, I think, from Method, but they are playing very conservatively for a reason. All they have to do is finish the map. All they have to do is get to the very end. And Ultimate getting taken out so quickly by Twerk. That was a hero move, as Ultimate could have wreaked a lot of havoc from up there, but we have a Death Blossom available for Nicholas. This cleanup should be nice and easy, as well as Method don't really have anything to defend against it if he should choose to use it. Rule getting focused down now by the Reaper. That will only take 1 more shot. Oh, I hate when you have to reload. That's why he did it. Reload takes 2 too long. Hit the Death Blossom.
And Exi will be the last to fall, so even though that ultimate may not have looked worked for a second, there it is probably, but no! The payload moving so close, it's still very close, it's just a meter away. Harblu is the last one for his team on the point, and Harblu has to make a miracle happen. It's just JKW and Harblu together as the rest of the Complexity team is reinforcing slowly but surely, trickling in from spawn, and they've made it happen, and that was damn close though for Method.
That was incredibly close. Harblu, actually, if he didn't have his ult there, that would have been a checkpoint. Easy peasy. Actually, really good credit to Harblu to stay alive throughout that. Ran up all the way. I thought Chronic may have been able to save the day with a pin or something like that, but wasn't in the cards. Actually eliminating Ultimate like that will slow them down. Death Blossom is available, Pulse Bomb is available, Graviton Surge, combo potential is very high here for this next engagement. Graviton Surge gonna lock them up, Pulse Bomb goes in behind, Reinhardt does get the kill on JKW, triggers Transcendence from the defending Zenyatta, but everything's starting to go Method's way for the first time in quite a while. Can they get the last couple of kills they need? Ultimate Web on a Surge.
Yeah, after being stumped for quite some time now, Method has finally found a way in, and they've moved on to the last phase. And this is potentially the last phase for Complexity.
Retro.
Did not think we would be saying that here. Did not think we'd be seeing NRG going out first in the group. In fact, we thought it would be Complexity. So the fact that they're potentially going down and out, and not even against NRG.
Right, they didn't even play.
They're potentially going down and out to the two teams that look to be the underdogs in this group.
It actually would be kind of crazy to have Complexity as the top seed not win a game. This Group D, Group of Death, definitely holding on its acronym very well here. Twerk just pouring shots in on the defense, trying to get as much damage as he can on that Reinhardt shield. We'll see what happens at the engagement. Will it be Psycho Waffle with the Sound Barrier at some point, or will it be the Earth Shatter? It is going to be the Sound Barrier to get them forward as they get Nicholas and Harblu very low on health. Can they get the kill they need? Chronic potentially looking for a giant Earth Shatter here to help them along, and Snow with the Pulse Bomb could be great combo potential.
I'm scared. This Earth Shatter could be huge. It might be coming in any second now with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock, 1 minute 50. Here comes the Earth Shatter, gonna be able to get one. There's the pin, but Tort from the back, able to get value that he needs for his team. Here comes Zenyatta, gonna keep everybody from Complexity very healthy on the point, but the fight will rage on. It's gonna be both supports, ultimates dropped out with just 2.57 meters left on the clock or the board. Method, so close, yet no cigar this time, Joshi. Just 1 minute and 25 left.
Hanging on by the skin of their teeth. I'm more worried about the distance than the time at this point. If they manage to sneak even a couple of meters, this map will be over, but Complexity, they really only have a couple of ultimates. They have been very heroic with them so far, each and every ultimate paying off. Ultimate with the Death Blossom, this could be all they need if he just waits it out. He's gonna jump in with the Zarya, Graviton Surge, I get multiple kills. Torque, Showmeister all dead. Focusing down the rest, JKW gonna fall on the defense as well. Method still has several members standing and only a few meters to go. Can they do it, Ben?
Exi was left so low there, but brought back up by the Transcendence, and that Transcendence will continue to heal away. But Complexity has managed to hold on for now. They've managed to do it, even though they were down and out about 2 players. Early, there's a huge Pulse Bomb from Snow.
Oh, someone fell off the map. Psycho Waffle gone. Lucio, you're the attacking Lucio. You're so important, and now you're falling to the depths of wherever King's Row happens to be located. Yeah, and oh my goodness, Method, I can't believe it. You're coming so close. Look at this. Payload is just rolling backwards now. Complexity fighting all the way up here. Harblu, I'm not even sure what happened there. It looks like he challenged Ultimate Web up in the sniper nest. Ultimate Web getting the better of him. This is a 6v5 engagement with only 13 seconds left. Overtime does count here. Overtime will allow them to potentially get this point.
And JKW putting that Reinhardt shield up for his team. Snow going to be diving into the back lines, and he's dove very far indeed, but able to come on back and join up with the rest of his team. Ultimate Web will get another kill, so this fight is still in favor of Method. Yet it's kills coming there for Complexity. It's going to be going both ways. Hard to call as both teams striking back and then striking back again.
Great presence of mind by Ultimate Web. He was shooting at the Winston, which is Reaper's favorite target, but he saw Twerk coming out from the spawn, turned at a perfect time to take him out, kills the other DPS, Nicholas, and in overtime, it looks like they're gonna do it. Oh my goodness, Method 2-0's Complexity. Complexity out of Group D, out of the tournament, definitely not going to Atlanta. Method, very well done across the board.
Now talk about storylines here as Complexity looking a little bit shaky, and they have looked shaky as of late, but this is no one would have expected this. Both Method and Rise beating this top-tier team from North America. What's happened in the North American scene, Joshi? Are we seeing the shakeup before our very eyes? two new teams have managed to establish themselves and say, we are here to stay, we are a top team in North America, and we are going to Atlanta to face off for $300,000, or at least one of these two teams. But man, gotta feel sad for Complexity fans out there. Just looked rough for them at times. So close to holding at the very, very last moment. So damn close. Yet heroics from Snow. I think that was a pulse bomb at the very end that just made it happen. And there you go. Method will eliminate Complexity Gaming.
Great performances from everyone on Method. Chronic, UltimaWeb, Psycho Waffle with the great ultimates. Snow, of course, starting out on the Hanzo, ending on the Tracer. Everything looked great for them. And you know, Hanzo may not know anything, but James and ZP at the desk, they certainly do. What did you guys think of that one?
Well, another upset. The upsets continue to roll in. You know, we had hard blue hooks to start off with, but then they weren't enough, ZP.
No, they weren't, and unfortunately, teams have gotten a little bit wise at dealing with Harblue. Harblue had moments of greatness in this game, but also moments of just getting shut down. It's why he wasn't able to stay on Roadhog for as long as he would have liked, but man, it's easy to talk about where Complexity had problems, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about Snow for Method, one of the newer additions to what was once known as the one-shot roster. Huge place for him. In Hollywood, Tracer was just absolutely relentless, and then you look at what went on Kings Row. McCree on defense, Hanzo on the attack, and then Tracer to round it out. He had an absolutely massive game and was backed up by really strong tank play in there. Chronic, of course, has his ups and downs, but it was definitely an up day for Chronic.
I agree, and that was something I was looking for. Even from the beginning of the day, I thought Chronic, very great Reinhardt player. I remember saying that. Thank you, Chronic, for doing such a good job. Had some excellent Graviton surges and bubble play from Exy as well, just keeping everyone healthy. Just very few mistakes actually coming out of Method. When they got a couple of members dead, they backed off. They played more conservatively than I think I've seen many teams try to do this. And the fact that they just backed off with 5 members, 4 members, it didn't take as much time as a full bloody brawl, so they've conserved their time very well here. We can see some of the highlights coming out now from that Hollywood map. Lots of multi-kills going both ways, but UltimaWeb definitely shining. There he is again. I love it.
I just want to watch that on repeat.
Yeah, just I think someone clip that on Twitch, and we'll get to watch it whenever we want.
Some say he's still orbiting the Earth to this day.
What we might not see here, though, is Zenyatta play, because I noticed Rolf on the defense of Kings Row he got multiple 3Ks, especially towards the end when there were 9 seconds on the clock, and that cut was right in front of the line there. He was holding things down, obviously healing his team. He had some really important transcendence moments as well when we had really problem situations for his team, but multiple 3Ks coming out of the Zenyatta. Someone you're not going to observe that often, but definitely has to get massive props for him as well.
Just about every Method or member of Method had moments where they went in huge this game. Of course, we talked a little bit about Snow and the tank play, but where would we be if we didn't talk about UltimaWeapon, where at the very end on Kings Row, where members of Complexity were really having huge games at the very end, Torque being a hero, and yet it was UltimaWeapon coming in, getting the 5K at the very end, just being absolutely dominant. And for Method, they're now that much closer to going to Atlanta, and really they can look around at the rest of their team, and everyone had a big role in it.
I just want to thank Method and Complexity for giving me a terrific match to cast. This is actually my last match to cast or analyze for the playoffs. I've really enjoyed my time here, and that was a great nightcap, I guess, for the playoffs for me.
Yeah, it has been an entire evening of really enjoyable matches, actually. Lots of surprises as well, which is always good. So we're going to be having, as our last match, Rise versus Method.
Indeed.
That's going to be an interesting one. We'll see if the surprises continue, but I think we have the Republic of Gamers play coming very shortly indeed. Any final thoughts on that particular match we just watched?
Well, ZP, yeah, you said we're giving praises to Method, but you said we'll get to the weaknesses of Complexity. What did you have in mind there?
Well, weaknesses for Complexity in general, it felt like their team engagements were not really on point. They couldn't really chain together one good team fight after one good team fight. They would have points where they would all get together and actually win a team fight, but then they would struggle right after. It just feels like they rely too heavily on picks from Harblue when he's on Roadhog, and then when they have to switch to something more traditional, they're not getting as much as they want. And also, I think Nicholas has definitely had a rough last few weeks where he hasn't been nearly as explosive as he once was. There was a point where Nicholas would get 2, 3Ks all the time, and really his most notable was a Reaper Zarya combo, but other than that, it wasn't the best series for Nicholas.
Right, it's time for our Republic of Gamers incredible play of the game. Any guesses?
Oh my, Chronic actually had so many great Earth Shatters, very satisfying ults. There was just a number of Death Blossoms and Dragon Blades, McCree getting sent to space. It was all just terrific. Ben, any guesses?
I hope, I was about to say, I hope it's a Chronic play because we don't give enough love to the tanks and the supports, and Chronic had some massive moments. That said, here it is, Nicholas. He's going to walk on in, easy peasy, clean up there after the huge Earth Shatter there for his team. And there you go.
Yeah, maybe just one of many incredible plays. I wouldn't have been my first choice again, but Chronic, I think, sealed so many more fights that I have to give him my Ask Joshi incredible play of the game.
Chronic really showed up to me. There was a point where One Shot really was not doing all that much, but I remember some of my first games watching them going, wow, Chronic is a really good Reinhardt and having great plays. Now, again, I don't think he always has great days. I think it's more up and down, but today was definitely one of his better showings.
Okay, it's time for our final match of the evening to see who is the last team from North America to go over to Atlanta. But first, a short break. We will see you on the other side.